Go!
All right, everybody, welcome to a Monday night edition of Teaching Crypto. The market is hot. You just have to know where to look. And Mr. FOMO, we've got two big tokens we're going to talk about today. But first of all, how about ETH making a run to 3K? And, we talked about this. Here's the deal. We've talked about the ETH ETF being in May. Yeah, we'll mention H-bars. H-bar has had a hell of a 24 hours, Woods. We'll talk about it for sure. But I just want to bring up the ETH thing because I still think, Mr. FOMO, if you haven't gotten on the ETH train, there's still some seats left. Not that many, but still a few. It looked like earlier we were going to get 3K today. Bitcoin is a bit of a retrace here. I would not worry about it one bit. And I just think you're going to see ETH 3K this week pretty easily. I think we're going to hold over 3K. And the question is, when do we see the 4K ETH? Is it going to be March or is it going to be April? That's how high I am on ETH right now. Is this?
You don't think it's by May, like I put in the title? You threw me.
I think by May we're pushing 4,500. To be honest with you, well,
wow.
I just want to see. Here's the thing. I told you a 5K ETH was kind of my bottom end for this. But really,
well, now what do you think?
Really, I think a 10K ETH is in play. I'm not sure if we quite get there, but I think ETH is a steady climber. And here's the deal. I don't see it stopping because of the ETF hype. It's going to have hype. There's utility, there's hype, and a lot of people coming into the market as Bitcoin does better and better, they're going to be like, what should I get next? How about ETH? Because that ETF is trying to get approved. So this thing here, just ride the ETF. Don't overthink it. Sometimes things in life are things you don't overthink. So for this one, again, we've talked about it before, but just in case you're new to the channel or haven't jumped in, I don't think it's too late here. You got a bit of a retrace here as we were pushing towards 3K earlier today. So heck, obviously you would have loved to get it at 22 or 21, or even in the summer at 15 or 1600 or 1400, but not too late here because there's plenty of time between now and May to ride this up again.
Yeah, and recent history has proven that your theory is probably correct. We saw the Bitcoin ETF, and every time there was even a rumor of the Bitcoin ETF, we saw it run up. And then we had the Bitcoin ETF finally get approved. We saw the run up to that and then the fall off afterwards. So I think as long as those rumors and as long as the SEC is still working with these banks to get the ETFs going, I think you're going to see this continue to climb. And as the rumors can become more solidified, you'll see it continue to climb towards whatever date the ETF will finally be approved. And then you'll probably, I would hazard a guess to see that you'll probably see a market-wide sell-off. And so if that happens, say in May, you could see this thing go crazy until then, but then a market-wide sell-off because of the Halloween indicator, which we know is huge in crypto. We know that that's come around several times and it doesn't fail. May and June, there is that go away in May, stay away, and then it's a little bit of a swoon in June. And so you've got a lot of reasons to think that we might build up and then fall off. So there could be time to take profits, and then there could be some time to accumulate here this year.
Yeah, and here's the thing about ETH. We've talked about this before. Some things are not as fast as others. We really haven't gotten what's called a God candle just yet. And I think one is coming before the Bitcoin halving. And that's why I feel so strongly about the 4K here coming up. I would really be shocked if we did hit 4K at this point.
And you still haven't seen any explosive growth before the halving. I still think a month out of the halving, I still think we're going to see some in, late March, early April, we're going to see some explosive growth. So this is something to keep an eye on, because if Bitcoin's going to get explosive, then everything else is going to follow behind it. It's not just going to leave everything in the dust. The whole market's going to move. And so I can fully see this getting there. I'm starting to get on board with the AZcrypto prediction train here. And so I could see actually a 10K being in play at some time during this bull run. Like you said, I don't know if we'll hit it, but 5K almost seems like a no-brainer at this point.
And so we want to talk about a token that has exploded. We'll talk about a couple tonight over the past. And by the way, hit that like, hit that subscribe, bell notification, super chats, and the store are open. Any way you could support us. If you can't give a super chat, please share. Please hit that subscribe button, that like, bell notification. Share the show with someone else. It really greatly helps us out as we make a run towards at least 2,000 subs here very soon. Japan unveils groundbreaking crypto legislation for investment firms. Investment firms are now free in Japan to invest in crypto. And one of the most popular tokens that you're going to talk about, Mr. FOMO, huge day. In fact, one of the best performers over the last 24 hours, JASMY. And we talked about it today. Mr. FOMO, here's the crazy thing. We were talking pre-show, it was up 22%. You want to take a guess what it's up to right now within the past 5 minutes? We are up 25% over the past 24 hours. We're up over 6% over the past hour, and 40% for the month. And 40% for the week, 64% for the month. And so this thing, you talk about exploding. I mean, this is doing it. And tell us why JASMY is so connected to Japan. You did a deep dive a long time ago. We might put that in the description.
There's a lot of interesting things about JASMY. The team is solid. The ideas behind it are solid, but JASMY is what's considered by a lot of people to be Japan's Bitcoin. It's basically the Japanese market's favorite crypto. And we saw that in the volume that it was pumping out today compared to its market cap. But what really is intriguing about JASMY is the idea behind the project is the fact that they want to democratize your data. They don't want companies to have control of your data. They want companies to pay you to sell your data. And so what happens is you sign up through this as you surf the internet, whatever websites you go to or whatever companies you work with. Let's say you have a credit card or something like that. You make purchases on Amazon. All these companies are collecting your data. If they use your data, then you get paid for the use of that data, which seems only fair, right? It's your data. But right now, that's not the way it works. And so I really love the idea behind it. But the team has history. The president, and I'm going to mess this up, Kunitake Ando, was the Sony president, the seventh Sony president, was over Vio, Xperia smartphone, and there's a bunch of other stuff, but he's now the chairman of the University of Nagano. But this guy is the real deal. And, judging just by the numbers that we saw today, and we'll switch over to that chart. Let me kill this and put that chart up. But the numbers that we saw today and the volume were boggling. I mean, look at the increase in volume here, up almost 1,000%.
Yeah. I mean,
the market cap up. Like you mentioned, up 25%, but the volume right there, 995%.
crazy.
And you have to think that with its relationship with Japan and the idea that this legislation was just pushed through, that this volume has a lot to do with that news. But 149th in market cap, but number 20 in volume, and they're doing 125% of their market cap in their volume. I was
surprised to see that the market cap is still, despite this huge spike of the last 24 hours, only $408 million. So you have a volume of over 505 million and a market cap of 408. That's a pretty good combination. All-time high is right below $5. So right now it's still well below $1. This definitely is one now. It's like so many tokens, so little money is the problem. This is another one now that's on my radar. Hopefully you guys are benefiting from this knowledge. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. And if you've made some money, feel free to throw us a super chat here because, we'll talk about HBAR in a second because we brought up HBAR under 8 cents and we're going to talk about what just happened. less than 7 days later. But this one here, you never want to chase a pump, right? My question
Right.
though is, does this pump continue for the next few days? Does it easily get to the 10 cent, to the 10-cent mark here?
I think you're in brand new territory with volume that is at that point compared to the market cap. You almost it's almost like you just kind of jump on that rocket ship and go for the ride and see where it takes you on this one,
And
because
I
the
didn't make
number
10 cents.
is huge,
Yeah.
right?
Does it get to does it get to 0100, but the all-time price is $4.99. I mean, it's way, way, way below that right now. So this one has room to grow. This is one, if the Jap we talked about V-chain in the Asian market, this is, maybe you want to have some Asian influence in your portfolio in crypto besides gaming. We talked about AI and gaming, but you want
And
to
JASMY would be
diversity
one that would add some more diversity to your portfolio, right? This is something totally different. This
and
is data
easily you can get it any
democratization.
exchange, any exchange.
Right.
It's easy to get. Um, and if Bitcoin starts going crazy and this one starts getting more hype internationally, wow. Yeah. And this one actually under like
I
VeChain
really
is still
I
more
really
proven.
think that you still have a lot of growth out of this one just because of its relationship to Japan and what we saw with that legislation. So I'm interested to see where this one goes. It's one that I'm gonna definitely keep an eye on, and I may snap up a little bit of it just in case, just so that I have some. The only problem I see with it is the total supply is something like 50 billion. And so that's kind of a lot as far as the number of
Yeah, not
tokens
ideal.
that are out there. However, there's a lot to like about this project, and so it's one that I'm gonna not only keep an eye on, but I think I'm probably going to add to my portfolio.
It wasn't that long ago on this show that we mentioned H bar had just dipped below 8 cents. And what do you know? Today it runs to, and that we talked about maybe that would be a good time to accumulate. I wish I'd taken my own advice. But
I
again,
did.
so many tokens, so little money to spend here. Um, 11 cents is retraced a little bit here, but man, that was a quick within a week up 33%. This is a sign that the bull market is ready to go. I mean, here's the exciting part, guys. If you're brand new, there instead of waiting a week to see a 33% hike, you're going to start seeing the 30-40% within 24 hours. And so that really gives you an opportunity to take profits. Now, they don't all go up 40% every day. Don't get me wrong. That's not the way it's going to happen. But you're going to see tokens have their runs, and there's going to be, if you are diversified, um, entertainment purposes only, there'll be plenty of chances. And when these tokens that continually show, like Solana right now is resting, so if you bought Solana and you're frustrated, don't be, because a big run is coming. Same with Muse. If you bought Muse and you're frustrated right now, don't worry, the time is coming. Same with
Yeah,
Chainlink.
you
The time is
literally
coming.
have a game of investment whack-a-mole getting ready to come up here. Like, you really are going to have things that are running sometimes independently of the market, sometimes faster than the market, and you're going to have to determine when to take profits. And it's going to be exciting, but you also need to slow down and think, hey, this is a lot of money that I'm making here. Hey, this has gone up this much percent. Maybe I should think about taking profits. Maybe I should protect some of this money and set it aside so that it's not at risk of going back down, because some of these cryptos will spike they'll spike in an hour and then they'll be back right back to the level they were at an hour ago. So when you look at some of these coins, I forget which one I was looking at the other day. It was a pretty popular coin, but the average hold time was, I think, 3 days. And so
Mhm.
even though it was a good project, it was still only being held for about 3 days. That lets you know that you need to be, like I said, playing a game of investment whack-a-mole during this bull run. When you have an opportunity to take some profits and take some off the table and put some cash in your pocket, you've got to do it. And we're about to hit that exciting time where you're going to have the opportunities to do those things.
Yeah, and before we leave you guys, Bitcoin is just chilling. Like, you can pick up one of their shirts at the store. We're doing just fine. consolidating here a little bit above 51. Unless we go below 50, which we almost did on Sunday, but bounced back quickly, I'm very happy with the way Bitcoin is
Do
going.
you have that AVAX article?
Ooh, Avalanche really quickly. So Avalanche is another one that hasn't moved in a while. We haven't spoken about this, but they made some news because they're getting somewhat popular here with the the financial sector. Citi is talking about possibly using tokenization with Avalanche. Now, it hasn't come through, but that was news that hit. What's interesting to me is Avalanche, JASMY's running today based on the Japanese news, but Avalanche hasn't really run. And so that's an interesting one because it's not running now, but it doesn't mean it won't run later. But that just kind of tells you sometimes it's not necessarily, the news or the utility. It's hype. And Avalanche right now doesn't quite have the hype that some of the other tokens do, but I could see it definitely having its turn fairly soon. And so I found that pretty
This is a
interesting.
good project. But it also speaks to the idea that the American retail investor really isn't back yet. They still have cold
Great
feet when it
point.
comes to the crypto market, and other markets seem to be enjoying crypto a lot more than the American investor. And so I think the Celsius, FTX, Voyager, all that Terra Luna fallout has kind of broken a lot of American investors. And when you see something like AVAX with utility like this,
Well,
with
testing,
Citibank, no
yeah,
less. I mean, with TradFi, no less. You would think that getting in bed with, an industry that handles money would send this into a frenzy, but it really hasn't. And so my guess is that this is just the effect of the market, the cold feet in
what's
the
weird
market. So
about this? Avalanche for the week is actually down almost 5%, even with
that is
this news.
really that's so weird.
But
In
here's
any other market, news like this would drive it through the roof,
but
and
Avalanche right
it's
now is
just so wild.
under 40, all-time high 147.50. I'm looking
And
at the
so
dip.
what does that tell you, though? What does that tell you? You see this good news coming out, you see it falling down. This is possibly a good time, not financial advice, but this is possibly a good time to accumulate AVAX, because AVAX is one of those projects that will run. This is a
So
good
it,
this
it,
is a
it
good
deceptively
project.
has run. I'm going to make you a little queasy, but over the summer, Mr. FOMO, you could have picked it up at $8.62. And it actually did hit $50 and now has retraced significantly below 40. So again, for entertainment only,
You get a
we're handing you
20%
guys,
retrace there.
we're handing our viewers here opportunities. I just hope they take them.
Absolutely.
But
Between
all the
JASMY and a
ones we mentioned
retracing
tonight,
AVAX is really good.
all the ones we've mentioned tonight, I think are in great shape until May. I really do. And you're like you said, they're not going to all run the same day, the same hour. But if you have these in your portfolio, you could make a teaching crypto for entertainment only portfolio. And I think you could do very well. And hopefully you come back and thank us and tip us a little bit, help us out as we try to strive to make
Show us
more
some
and more
love.
content. Absolutely. And we'll be here. I've got some great shows coming up. Guys, ETH will be at 4K before you know it. We'll be celebrating. Please hit that share, that like, bell notification. Help us out any way you can. Super chats in the store are open. We got some great gifts. Just come on in and take a look. For Mr. FOMO, this is AZcrypto. Have a great night, everybody.
See ya.